Every day, everywhere you look, you are constantly inundated with logos, colors, and even taglines by companies trying to get your attention.
All of these companies have an identity, a backstory, or a reason why they exist.
Few people actually break down the brand image.
What's their why?
What's their mission?
What do they stand for?
Well, we've connected with entrepreneurs and other interesting people from these companies to share what it is about them and their company
that truly makes them brand worthy.
So let's get to the show.
Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome to another show of Brand Worthy. Mike Mollardino is getting some rest. He's getting ready for season 2, where we have a lot of new exciting things coming to you and a new host to be able to be on this journey with us. I'll be taking myself off of this show. You never know, I might come back here or there, but I'll be focusing on the Love Local Chicagoland podcast, where I talk to nonprofits and stories in the community. But when this podcast came into my plate and I saw a good friend just doing her thing and building a business, I'm like, okay, I got to do one more podcast. So that's what we're doing. We're doing one more podcast, and I'm doing it for a few reasons. Obviously, one, it's a friend, right? But it's more than just a friend. It's a person and a woman that has decided to build her own business and has overcome struggle to be able to get to where she's at in her business. And now she's building her business. And as I see her flourish and do her thing on social media and in the community, inviting people into her Pilates studio, which we'll talk about here in a moment, I see her not only building a business, but building a community. And I think you know about us here at Love Local Chicagoland, we're all about the community, and we're all about building community, and we believe that with building community we could have a stronger tomorrow. So enough of me talking. I'm really excited to introduce you to Elizabeth Giromini. She's the owner and instructor of Movement Improved Pilates, which is located in downtown Palatine, super close to the train station, Tap House Grill, JL's Pizza, whatever you want down there. Cook, Cork, and Fork, Mexico Uno. If you know the area, you know where it's at. But I want to introduce you and get to know her story and really what makes her business unique and different. So enough of me talking. I want to welcome Elizabeth Giromini. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. I don't know how to follow that introduction, but I'll do my best.
Well, good news. You don't have to follow too much. You just got to be yourself, my friend. I'm really excited for this conversation. You're new into this business journey.
Yes.
But I've seen you like in your heart for quite some time.
For sure.
And it's just cool to see you here now. And it's really cool to see you do your thing. And through that, I'm inspired by that. So before we dive into your Pilates studio, I want the audience to get to know a little bit about who you are. So let's start with that question. What should people know about you?
So I'm a community member first. I live in just on the edge of Arlington Heights, almost in Palatine. A lot of people ask me that, how close I am to the studio, about 8 minutes away. And I'm a mom and a wife, and I'm, a local member of a local church, and I have friends in the community. And I think that that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to share something that we love as a family, because well, it's true, I love it. Actually, everyone in my family loves it. And so it's something that we really wanted to share with others, because we're passionate about it. And we're passionate about meeting people on their health journey. We feel like this can be part of that. And so in addition to kind of having that passion, we're just regular people living our life. We homeschool our kids. We have our oldest daughter is away at university, finding her path and her journey. My husband works for a financial firm in the city, but mostly from home, like many people nowadays. And so, we wanted to have this special place that we could share something that we love as a family with others. And so we have this little studio to have people come and meet them where they are in their health journey. And that's a little bit about that.
Yeah, I love that whole thing about meeting people where they're at, and we'll kind of dive in a little bit more as we continue to evolve. But I think that's what it's about when you're building a business and you're serving the community, is just meeting people where they're at and helping people. Your journey, you come from good family and good roots. I think that was just mentioned in there, and I'll affirm that. But this journey to being your own business owner, being a Pilates studio owner, it's been quite of an uphill battle at
Yeah.
times. Can you talk a little bit
Yes.
about what's gotten you to here?
Yes. I struggled with my own health and physical fitness, and had lost weight, but was very weak. I didn't really have any muscle strength, and I had an injury as a result. And I absolutely hate working out, like hate it. But I had this sorority sister that had a Pilates studio, and I thought maybe I'll give that a try. So I went and gave it a try, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't hate that. Maybe I could keep doing this. Within about a month of doing Pilates, I realized I want to be an instructor. I love this. This is really life-changing for me. And so I knew that I wanted to be an instructor and have my own studio, but things kept happening. Family first, right? The first was my dad needed to have open heart surgery. So I literally had submitted the paperwork and the payment to become an instructor and flew out the next day to Iowa to be with my dad for his open heart surgery. This was January 2021. We all got COVID from being in the hospital. And after I returned home from being sick and everything, I had long haul symptoms. And I had those two, like, just pesky, amazing best friends, Lisa and Liz, that were like, you need to go see your general practitioner. So I go to see my general practitioner. I'm behind on my mammogram. I have the mammogram. I have cancer.
Wow.
What? No, that's no.
That's not a part of the story.
That's not part of the story. And that's everyone else. That's not me. And most importantly, in the midst of this open heart surgery thing, my dad was in an ongoing battle with multiple myeloma, so his own cancer. I was absolutely terrified to tell him. He was absolutely the hardest person to tell. Mostly because my family had really been on the discovery of the cancer journey with me. So there really wasn't that horrible moment to tell them. So they offered me a way out of becoming the Pilates instructor. And I thought, no, Satan, you cannot have this too. That is my exact thought. I've wanted this. I got to still figure this out. I can't give up that. I can't take that too. But I had lobular carcinoma, which is a small percentage of the kinds of breast cancer. I talked to a lot of different surgeons and doctors and did my own research, and it is fast growing and invasive. And so I had decided to do a double mastectomy. And so I worked really hard to get halfway through that process of becoming an instructor. It's intensive. It's over 500 hours. And then I had the first surgery, which was the double mastectomy. And it's just so, like, the recovery is just like, I feel like people try to prepare me for what that was like, but it was tough. I was surrounded by amazing support. I mean, people showed up with meals at my home. People drove my kids places they needed to go. But the pain management and just kind of how you're feeling about yourself, and losing a lot of your femininity, it's a struggle.
So it's more than just physical pain. There's a mental
More than
pain that
physical.
you're working through as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's that, like, it's okay to have those moments of where you're just sad and maybe feeling sorry for yourself is the best way to describe it.
Sure.
But then there's also, like, okay, how can I still move forward and what I'm supposed to do, because this can't still be who I am. I don't really want this to define who I am. And I want to be a survivor in this. And so a good friend in the class, in particular, Evan and Mary and Angie and Marnie, really said, come back in the studio. And one of the instructors, Jada, was really amazing with me. And they got me back in the studio before my second surgery, so I could kind of try not to lose the momentum I had going on. And then I went down and saw my sorority sister that had the little Pilates studio in Texas and did some training with her. And she was like, you can still do this. You can still have your studio. You can still do this. I believe in you. And I was like, I don't know, bad thing. She was just so encouraging. And I came back and I became the apprentice. It was like kind of, in some ways it was like little bit better after that second surgery and feeling a little bit more like that reclaiming of my life. And so then I became the apprentice, and I was like working the hours, and then had the final like becoming the instructor. But in the midst of all that, my dad's cancer had gotten worse. And that was still the most important thing for me, was to be with him.
For sure.
And so it was still, I'm working on my story, but my dad, I got to be there for him. And so I spent most of the summer with him in hospice and holding his hand and telling him it was going to be okay. And so I did lose my dad to cancer. And this, in some ways I say, and so, everyone walks through grief differently. Everybody's journey of grief is differently. And so I did lose my father to cancer, but I still feel like he's on this journey with me.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
feel like he would be so proud of me for still trying to move through. And, my children and my husband, we've all grieved him in our own way, but this studio is really still important to us in reclaiming my cancer and saying, there is still life even after Pop-Pop's cancer, and having this. And I know that he would be our biggest supporter and such a fan. And so, I have been known to say that this studio is my, FU cancer studio for both my father and I, because even though he isn't with us, I know that he is with us in his own way.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of that journey of everyone has a different health journey, and mine had all these road bumps, and everyone faces those road bumps, and they kind of decide, okay, how to get past this one. And that's kind of sort of a little bit about ours and my family's. And yeah.
Loss is hard. Cancer is hard, especially you're double hit with cancer, and then you lost your father with that. I could only imagine what type of feelings you had to work through for you and your family as you do that. But your spirit, it seems like it carried you. And you coming from the get go. You're coming and swinging with cancer or for anything. But you also like you knew you were going to be an instructor, but you were also looking at it like, but here's the deal, like that could wait. Like, this is my dad. I'm taking this time. So to be with him and to have this time with him that I could never have again. Right. That's beautiful. As hard as that is, that's beautiful.
I totally agree. And part of your grief is when you've gone through being in hospice care with someone, there is some of it that is so special and so amazing. And, we're kind of still making these really heartfelt jokes about like, oh yeah, remember last summer with Pop and or with Dad doing this in the hospice care and all these kinds of things. So it changes you forever sitting through hospice care with someone, watching someone slowly die.
Yeah. Talk about perspective.
It
right?
gives you a lot of perspective. And so you're there, and at the same time, your children are need you because their life is still moving forward, but yet they're grieving that their Pop-Pop is sick. It is such a journey to go through that, like, okay, I'm sitting here with Dad all day, but then everyone's still moving forward the rest of it. And I think that that's some of what prepares you for after your loved one passes, that you are going to have to still be making choices every day about your journey and moving forward.
Yes.
And I think that I'm so thankful for the time I had with him, but it doesn't change how hard it was, right? And that's part of the grief. And that's part of going through all those times of grief and moving forward and still keeping that person with you. And so it's like I said, it was a tough journey for both of us in different ways, and for my family in their own way. And so this is kind of how we're continuing to choose life and move forward and to make him proud in our choices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. I feel like as a community, we could take note of like that's the way to do life, to pause for that time, to hold up on goals or do whatever it is, to do what's right. And not everybody would make those decisions. So like kudos to you and your family for doing that and like keeping your faith at the forefront. I think
Yes.
it's not always easy when you're getting punched a little bit.
Yes.
One of the things that I don't know, we've talked about it a little bit, but like from an outsider looking in, I've visited your studio in downtown Palatine, and I've seen you and followed you on social media, and obviously we believe in social media and the power like good could do with it, even though there's a lot of
Yes.
hot mess stuff out there, as we're in the infancy
Especially
stage
in
with
the
all this.
fitness industry.
Yeah,
There's a lot of, come and have this exercise and then look this way.
yeah,
Well, wait a minute.
yeah.
What about how we're going to feel?
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. How are you going to feel? Let's feel good.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that comes out of you, like your whole everything, like your body language, how you talk to people, and whether they're in your studio and you're working with them through things. And I saw like I'm never going to be able to do that movement, but it's cool watching another person do that. But maybe someday, you never know.
Right, never know,
But
never know.
but seeing you do that thing, like you're full of joy as you're doing this. And I look at like building a business is hard. Hands down, it's hard. And there's roller coasters that you could go on as a business owner, especially
Yes.
in the early infancy stage. But how you make people feel when they come to your studio, because you genuinely care. Like this is not a fluff thing, guys. I'm not just saying this to say it. Like
Right.
go follow her on social media and the business. You're gonna feel it too. But not only do you take it from making people feel comfortable when they're there, when they're in
Yes.
uncomfortable positions and
Yes.
uncomfortable roles,
Absolutely.
but you're like, you make people feel comfortable, where a lot of times like that's an art to me. That is not
Yes.
a science. But to make people feel comfortable when they're uncomfortable is a true art. But you mastered that there. But then all of a sudden you're using this thing, and which really makes me proud, to just be able to tell your story. And I respect, and I said it in the beginning, but just you're going about building a community, and you want just people. You want at the end of the day, you want
Yes.
people to feel good.
Yes.
Like it's really that simple for you.
Yes.
Like and Pilates is just the way to go about it. But I would say, like from an outsider looking in, and then Carrie's been in your studio as well, my wife, it's how you make people feel that it's more than just Pilates. People could go to different, they could go to yoga,
Yeah.
they could go to get a trainer at a gym, they could do all these
Right.
other things, which maybe is a part of their health journey
Right.
too.
And I think there's merit to all of those things.
Yeah.
But I think, making that choice for movement, making that choice to really consciously, I'm going to try something, that has got to be recognized.
Yes.
And, and I'll say to somebody, they'll come in and they'll think, oh, I didn't move my right arm when she said right, I moved my left. And I'll be like, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
My favorite saying is, there's other people sitting at home eating Cheetos. There's nothing wrong with Cheetos. There's nothing wrong with eating Cheetos. I'm just saying that right now you're choosing to move. Honor that you've gotten yourself here, and it's okay if it isn't what you think is perfect. First of all, there is no perfect, but it's okay to just make the choice and then be on the journey.
Yes.
And like see where that takes you. And I think that it's okay if it's any other form of exercise. I think movement is good. I like to say we want to be able to go on our family vacation and do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not have to be on the sidelines maybe, or be injured when we do it. And so I love when someone comes to me and says, I was on my family vacation and I could do so much more than 10 years ago when we went and we were traveling here. And even if it's just like a lot of walking or hiking, they'll be so happy that they had the stamina to just persevere. Or in my case, I remember the first time I wanted to move something in the garage, and I did not need to ask my husband for help because he might be fantastic, but he takes forever. His timetable is totally different than mine.
Cut. We're not saying anything about Derek here. Cut. No, joking.
Exactly. It's true though. And I just that
Carrie
I
would
could
probably say
lift,
the same
yes,
thing about me.
that
So
I
yeah.
could lift something on my own. I love that's what I mean by choose movement, and then you're going to have all these other awards,
Yeah.
other places in your life that you can't even necessarily think about in advance. And it's going to feel good, like going and getting out of bed in the morning. And this, we all have that, like as we get older, the stiffer, like just feeling that, no, I'm going to choose this movement and it's going to pay back in other ways. And honoring all people, wherever they are in their movement, it's good because you made the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's talk about Pilates in general. So
Okay.
I know when we talked, we were talking about like stigmas around
For
Pilates,
sure,
where
for
like
sure.
it's
Yes.
if you don't, people don't think it's for them, and they don't understand that what the
Yes.
true value for their health could be.
Yes.
So can you give us a high level overview of what we should know?
So Pilates in its truest form uses a machine called a reformer or a tower or chair. And it is true that these devices are expensive devices. And that is where some of the cost comes in. But the other is we've all seen people on those Instagram reels on an expensive machine at the gym, total fail, right? Like we love it, we're laughing, but at the same time, they're like hurt like really hurt, or they're just not getting any benefit. And so the other thing that happens with Pilates is the intense instruction, the one-on-one instruction, because so many of the not just the movements, but the movements with the machines really require instruction, attention to a lot of detail because it takes a lot of focus. Now, the focus is what most people really like because then the time flies by. I have rarely, I actually can't even ever think of an instance, but I don't want to say never, but I can never think of an instance where when the class was over, someone has said, oh, that took forever. That was so long. Almost always it's the opposite. It's like, what? It's been 53 minutes. Oh my goodness. And they're really surprised because with so much focus on your movement, you can't really think about, oh, I should have sent that email. And then, oh, do you know what? I didn't take the meat out to defrost. And then, oh, the dog food, it's almost gone. All the distractions of your life that sometimes make a workout seem like this is kind of taking forever. You can't really have because it does take a lot of focus for movement in Pilates.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit kind of about it. And it really is you have to experience it because you feel so good afterwards.
So what's gonna feel good afterwards? I go in, I'm a
Okay.
novice.
Yes.
Like, talk to me about
Great.
like I'm coming through. Like, how often do I have to come through? What should be my expectations and how I
Yes.
should feel?
Great questions. So some people use it as it's their primary form of exercise, and so they come several times a week. Some people use it to supplement. So I have 2 young women right now that come because they do weightlifting and they know that they need a little bit more full body workout. And so they like to come once or twice a week. So you really kind of run the gamut. Another woman who does horseback riding. So obviously she's got really strong legs, but she knows that she kind of needs it for her whole body and she likes how she feels afterwards. So in her case, last night, we used what's called the tower, and we did a lot of things to improve not just her flexibility, but her control of movement. So for example, going back, reaching behind maybe something on the saddle when she's riding a horse or something with the rein. So increasing kind of her arm and shoulder and rib cage and oblique movement, twisting her spine, those kinds of things. Sure enough, afterwards, she was like, oh, yeah, this really feels great. She felt looser. She felt taller. So yesterday was really cold here in Chicagoland. It was our first super, super cold day. So I tried to do a lot of resistance, heavier spring retraining with everyone to get rid of that stiffness and to make them feel more mobile as they went through the rest of their day. So it's like any exercise where some days there might be a little bit more leg, a little bit more arm, a little bit more ab. But the truth is, all movement in Pilates is everything. So you always do feel it all over. And I think that is why people feel so good after Pilates, because they get those endorphins, right?
For
They
sure.
get that release because it was a full body workout.
For sure.
Hopefully that kind of explains it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think so. I'm coming from a novice level here, but I think of yoga, and I think yoga and Pilates are in my head the same bucket.
Right.
But I know that they're different. Can you talk about the different benefits from a Pilates side to a yoga side? And obviously, the machines are a part of it.
So the number one thing with the machinery is they're unforgiving, right?
Mhm.
They really catch you on, oh no, you've really got to use this muscle or really tighten here or adjust here. So the machines are really different for that. I think yoga is, great for people that is a practice that they really enjoy. I find with yoga, my mind wanders a little too much. I do have a hard time focusing. And so with this, because there's so much more movement, there's a lot. That would probably be the biggest difference is there's just a lot of movement. As where yoga, it's more like maybe finding a pose and
Staying there.
really trying to hold that pose with everything within you and then transferring to another pose. And I think with Pilates, it's a combination of the machinery, the one-on-one instruction, needing the whole body to move everything, and it being very constant moving. Pilates, sometimes we like to say something's always moving and something's always still. And sometimes it really matters what's holding still, and sometimes it really matters what's moving. That's kind of a little brief on that.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. So, I'm hearing you say like people could come for different reasons, whether it's your own workout or whether you're supplementing with something. So for me, like I think of like restorative measures with cycling.
Yes.
Would that be something that Pilates would be good for as well? Right.
Well, I love to say people will come and say, would this be good for, especially gentlemen, they kind of come in and look and go, maybe
we're skeptical.
Yeah, we're very skeptical, right? And then I like to say, before they even say what the next word is, yes, it's good for that. I get a lot of, is it good for golf or tennis? It's amazing for that because you can work so much, not just on the swing, but on what's happening with the rest of your body. Protecting the swing is just going to give you more power in the swing. That's a little brief example. I like to make the joke, Jake Arrieta, when he signed with the Cubs, in his contract, they had to build him a Pilates machine in the pitching training area because, he knew like the standing and what happens as you go through that picture swing and how much core strength you need for that. So it really is good for all human bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is good for athletes as well as people that this is just what they want as their primary workout. So there even are workouts specifically called athletic reformer.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with, volleyball players and put them on the tower doing a lot of upper body, but then switching over to, okay, let's work on the legs because you got to jump, right? And then usually trying to take what someone is doing otherwise and seeing how we can strengthen that, but also supplement it. And I think that's where it can help with things like cycling and some of these other things that people are really into right now.
Cool. So it's a great to add into your repertoire for exercise to get like full body health is what I hear you saying. Okay, cool.
Yes.
So you have packages and stuff like that people go, they could see your website. Can you, let's say I sign up for a class and maybe whether I'm with somebody or not, you tell me, but what does that process look like? And what is that, paint me a picture of what it looks like within these classes for people.
So you come to class, the most thing that people are surprised of is that there's no shoes. It's gripper socks. So you come in, you get your gripper socks on, you try your machine, and we let you kind of get used to the machine a little bit. It's not a very noisy machine, and so people are very surprised by that. And so we kind of try to just get people to feel comfortable in their space, comfortable in their body, comfortable with the machine. I like to say, know your body, know your machine. And so once they get kind of comfortable in there, then we kind of start that full body workout with a really brief warm up and then right into moving all the things, feeling all the things. And it's about 50 to 55 minutes, kind of depending upon the flow of the class and the tempo. And it's it's very adaptable for if you come to class and somebody, maybe they've been doing Pilates 5 years and maybe they've been doing Pilates, this is like their third session. This literally happened this week. So 5-year, third session, second session, no problem. I can make it easily adaptable to each one. That's again what you kind of get with that personal experience of the instructor.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So if I want packages, I go to your website, I could sign up for that. And I'm hearing you say it, like, you're going to tailor it around,
Yes.
you're going to meet people where they're at.
Yes.
On their health journey.
Yes.
Okay, great. So with that, you've been open for how many months now?
November 18th.
Of November 18th. So not even months, weeks, days, since the recording of this.
It seems like 2 days / I don't know, 7 months. I can't tell. My sense of time since the beginning of November is just lost in all of this. But yeah, because it's been exciting, right? Building a business is exciting, but there's all the business stuff, and then there's the little voice inside of me that says, I just want to teach people Pilates.
Yeah, for sure.
But they go hand in hand right now.
Yes.
And so I'm charging forward with both. And the joy that I have in those like minutes where people are teaching is just like, yeah, this is what I want. This is a special place where I love to say push the practice, really pushing people to make goals, whatever they are, even if it is just coming in the door. That's great. Let's celebrate that.
For sure.
But if it's, again, you've been doing Pilates for many years and you really want to, push this one little thing or get to this one little goal or be able to feel more successful at this movement, that's great too. Tell me, let's work on it. Let's do that together. I want to be on that journey with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's why people you generally care. Like I go back to, I could say that and it's not just fluff. What's you might have said this throughout.
I do care. I'm like, do you have a dog? Do you why do you
can't
come
help
to Pilates?
You're going to become best friends with people coming through here. Like, I know you. And that's how you're treating people as they come through the door. Like, you can help them with this service and you can help them be healthier, but it comes from a place of with a big heart and from a place of just wanting to help people live more joyous, healthy lives. And,
this has made all the difference for me in my health journey with cancer. And even just going through with my dad, having this outlet for me in those moments with him. I mean, even in hospice care, just, I would still do a little bit of Pilates on the side and go for walks, whatever it was. It's been such an important part for me and still having something that was my own in all of it, but also in feeling better and in staying mobile. After a mastectomy, you can't move your arms. I'm here to tell you, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you,
you
can do this. You can overcome. I can be on that journey with you. I can be your greatest cheerleader. And I can also silently cheer you on the side. If you're, a little more reserved, but you need that support in that space, I can offer that too. I know everyone comes at these things for different reasons, but it's just been such a needed outlet for me, and that recovery and sustaining that like momentum that I just want to continue to share that with people.
Yeah.
So hopefully people will want to join in and be part of that kind of community and come see our special space.
Beautiful.
And, yeah.
Is that your favorite part? Like if you had to narrow it down, like what your favorite part is about doing all this, about Pilates, people, what's your favorite?
Yeah. When someone does something they told me they couldn't do, it is just like, I literally like, that's it. I'm done for the day. I could go home. I
check.
I love check mark, that green check emoji. It happened. You can see, I just lit up when you asked me about that. There is, and because it happens every time. Oh, I'll hear them. I can't do that. She's crazy. I am absolutely crazy. That's totally true.
In the best way possible. Yeah.
But I'm crazy of enthusiasm for you. Listen to me. I'll show you how you can. And trust me, I cue people on things that maybe I still can't do. missing lymph nodes and all that kind of stuff. But I love having people get somewhere like they still want to do it. Okay, like I'll show you, you can have that movement, and they'll just be so happy. And sometimes it's longer, right? Maybe it's been a month and now we're really seeing that difference, but they're lighting up because they know there's a difference.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. And it's like, you say it and people will be like, oh, like, anybody could say that. That's just the Kool-Aid of the business. But like, I've known you now for 7 years ish. It's just, I don't even know. I'm just making up a number. It's been a long time. It might be longer than that. But that's just who you are. Like, you genuinely want to see people win and to be happy. And,
absolutely.
And that brings you joy as well. I could see that from the outside in. Like, there's no fluff. So we're getting ready to wrap up. A couple other questions I have. One of them is, you're about 2 weeks into this business journey, like crazy times, beautiful times. But as you look into the future, what excites you the most?
What excites me the most is probably two things, really, really helping people find movement, right? Whether it's more advanced movement or beginning stage, just helping people find movement in a safe place where they feel like they can be themselves and honor who they are. And then, of course, I want to make my dad proud in all this. And I, want to keep him on this journey with me. And yes.
Yeah. He's there, my friend.
Yes.
It's I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and it's like, somebody passes on, their spirit is still around us and in us. So like, lean into that and don't try to fight that off, because it's true beauty at the end of the day. Life's short, and we all have we don't have an infinite time here on earth. So to enjoy what we have, and when somebody that we love passes on, like, they're still with us.
They're part of us. You hear their little voice going, now, why did you do that? Oh, that was the right decision, wasn't it?
So why are you jumping in on this, Dad? How about the other stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, you're not wrong. So where can people learn about your business?
So our website is MI as in Movement Improved. So mipilates.studio. And we have an Instagram page called Movement Improved Pilates and a Facebook page called Movement Improved Pilates. We're located in downtown Palatine. And we would love to have you come and find your health journey with us and find movement with us and have fun. We want to have fun and enjoy one another.
Beautiful, my friend. So with that, I'll close this out in the show, but it's been a true journey. It's been a true honor just to be able to sit here and talk. Even knowing you sitting behind the table talking like this, I feel like you get to know people even a little bit more.
For sure.
I'm honored to be able to bring out your story with some questions. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I love listening to your show, and I love what you've done for the community too. And I am just humbled to be a tiny little part of it. So thank you for having me.
Well, it takes a village, my friend.
Yes,
Each of us, for sure. So, my friends, you need Pilates in your life, and find ways to be healthier and to be able to live your best life. If you're looking for a community that wants to meet you where you're at on your journey, to join you on the journey upward, to be living a more healthy and joyous life, like, you're gonna want to talk to Elizabeth. I promise you, she's the real deal. And not only are you going to get more flexible, you're going to get stronger, but you're probably going to make some good friends in the middle of it. And I don't know about you, coming out of COVID, I could use more friends and community of people that want to help each other win. I think that's what it's all about. So my friends, super grateful for your time today here on Brandworthy. Until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.